Hi, this is Curt and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
Okay, last one I think is on you.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's go to Philadelphia. Oh my God. And we've got it's kind of a confusing series of allegations, but essentially we've got two firefighters, one who's a captain with 38 years, another who's a firefighter with 25 years. Both of whom had put into the city's DROP program. That's a deferred retirement option plan. And so that's sort of problem number one. They've locked themselves into retiring at the end of the DROP program. And there's certain financial incentives for doing it. I'm not familiar with all of the incentives, but I know often you basically declare that you're going to retire in a couple of years, and then there's some offsets that go in, and you lock in your pension at a certain rate, but then you collect additional funds when you do retire. So there's a couple of different ways I've seen them set up. Bottom line is they sign up for the DROP program. And at the same time, the union had historically advised members not to sell back their unused vacation time. In other words, take your vacation time. Don't sell back your unused vacation time. And something that I know unions will often say is that if you don't use your benefits, the city is going to turn around and use that in arbitration or negotiations to say you really didn't need it. Because if you really needed that 6th week vacation or 7th week vacation, then you wouldn't be buying it back. So therefore, you really don't need it. So I get that part of it from the union. But what the allegations are is that while the union was saying don't sell your vacations back, their executive board, I guess, or other elected officials in the union were actually doing that. And by doing so, they were able to inflate their pension. So they were actually taking advantage of it. And the allegation here then is that these guys unfortunately had put in for the DROP program, so they no longer were in a position to be able to increase their pension. And by selling back their vacation time, they subsequently found out that the union officials had been doing this and really didn't want a lot of people doing it for fear that the city would come in and get rid of it. And so they're alleging that the union breached their duty of fair representation by both affirmatively advising them not to sell back their vacation, while at the same time taking advantage of this program themselves. Whoa, Brad just logged off, and eliminating. He's coming back.
Hey, I just for some reason signed out. I have no idea why.
Wow, that was a quick return.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was gone for a while, and I was commenting. Not sure if I'm live. I love technology, live shows. I love them even more.
Yeah, no, it wasn't for very long. It was maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So it wasn't very long. But at any rate, the allegation is that the union breached their duty of fair representation. Brad, I don't know how much you're up on collective bargaining law. My question is, I don't see how the city got named here. The complaint has one count of breach of the duty of fair representation. They didn't allege conspiracy. They didn't.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a collusion.
Right. They didn't allege that the city, you need a second count to allege that the city breached its agreement, maybe, or didn't inform the members of this. I'm not sure, but the city is named, so I don't know how the city stays in, but I think they need the city in there because they want to order the city to basically give them the same pension as if they had sold back their vacation time. So I don't know, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm a little circumspect about the whole thing, and I'll tell you why. Not that we're not commenting specifically on the people's veracity, but if a union gives you advice, you are free to accept or reject it. The choice you make as a person may be based on other people's opinions, which, hey, they made a different choice, right? I'm advising that you may not want to give back your vacation time. We want to. And to say it's personally serving, well, personally serves me, personally benefits me, that's why I give you bad advice. I don't know, maybe it benefits the union, as you were saying, but ultimately they didn't deny them the ability to claim it. They just gave them advice, whether it was skewed advice or not. I don't know that that's enough to tell somebody that I'm liable for all your bad choices, right? It's not really fraud. And maybe let's assume it, even if it's misleading, you're still able to make your own choices. So I don't know that I would find in favor of the complainants here. I'm not saying that the unions didn't have unclean hands. We don't know what, right? At this point, we don't know, but I'm really circumspect to say that just because you gave advice to your members, it'd be one thing issuing a policy. Hey, we're all collectively doing the following, right? Yeah. We're not going to do this. This is our stance. We're not going to do it. Don't do it. But even so, they can't stop you from using your vacation time or not. Or I just don't think they're going to meet any burden here to prove fraud, collusion, unclean hands, whatever. I think it's a very tough road to hoe. And my biggest question was, how much is the money? It can't be that huge.
You wouldn't think so. I don't know if they're selling back 6, 7, 8 weeks of vacation time, but week of vacation time, it really, it should be 1/52nd, right? So you're whatever that comes out to.
And over a 25, 30-year pension that caps you at 2/3 or whatever. You're right. I don't know what the pension is, but I just have a hard time believing, why is this happening? I wonder if this is more the lawyer pushing it than the individuals. And unless they think they're going to get a class out of this, which they may.
They are seeking a class action status.
Okay, so there you go. I'm betting it's the lawyers who are saying, listen, you individually, you guys are getting like nothing. You're going to get like $50, but we're going to make a lot of money over the big area. It's a big department, right?
Philadelphia, absolutely. Yeah.
So, the class, they only have to prove one and that everyone else is similarly situated. So the class could be big. I bet this is what I call a lawyer-driven lawsuit, whereas the individuals aren't going to get anything. They don't care. They're happy to be figureheads because they're upset, right? But it's more about solving the wrong through a class action than getting 1 or 2 people money.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they filed in state court. So maybe, I'm not familiar with Pennsylvania law, if they have a class action statute that awards attorney's fees. But I know when you go into federal court, typically under those laws, you are going to get attorney's fees. So I'm not sure. Maybe there is under state law in Pennsylvania.
I'm sure, and it's probably capped in some way. But it's the only thing that makes sense to me, because this isn't a lot of money for any one person. So, and this is what generally upheaves unions, right? When you get a class of, a significant percentage of people. Now, the problem is, I wonder how many, because how many people retired here? How many people already made the choice under the statement, right? So there's got to be a statement and the effect. And how many people followed the statement that the effect, right, in that time was, I lost certain amounts of money. That, I don't know, but, we'll see, I guess. So lawyers obviously must think they can make some money, because I just don't see any individual making enough that it's even worth it.
Yeah, bringing a suit like this is going to be big bucks. So either the law firm is bankrolling it, unless those folks are independently wealthy, and the end return is probably not going to be enough to justify the legal fees to bring this. So the law firm must be looking for that class action.
Yep. And the more interesting thing, which is true with all union votes, is don't forget, they've got to vote to defend this. So how big's their class? And does the class say, we don't want the union to defend itself? And then do they go after the individuals who made the statement individually? But then if they do it individually, they weren't acting on behalf of the union. There's all sorts of interesting procedural questions coming down the pike, which we won't, waste too much time on. But it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting issue.